dreaming of a white Christmas. You're just like the one that I used to know. Honey, it's where the treetops glisten. Little bitty children, they're trying to listen to hear for the sleigh bells that are ringing in the snow. I want to tell you one more time what I'm thinking about. I dreaming of a white Christmas, yeah, with their free Christmas card that I write you. Oh, I want you to know, Mayo Day, be so merry, merry and bright. Darling, I wish all of them one more thing in me, all of your Christmases, in me, in me, all of your Christmases. Baby, may your days be merry, merry, so merry and bright. Lord have mercy, I wish all of them, honey, and may all your Christmases be so white. Have mercy of a white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Dreaming of a white Christmas. Baby, Lord, I'm dreaming of a Christmas. Yeah, lovely white Christmas, the one with the snow, the one with.
Ever have one of those dreams where nothing comes out when you try to scream? Scream! Scream! See what I mean? One of those dreams. Christmas was 3 days ago. Jingle bells and ho, ho, ho. Just so you know, this ain't gonna be one of them feel-good shows. Just so you know. So Christmas was 3 days ago. Jingle bells and ho, ho, ho. Today's December 28th, the third day of Kwanzaa, Ujima, to build and maintain our community together and to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. I know you didn't know. I didn't know until Uncle Darnell told me so during one of his blackouts. Nah, not that kind of blackout. It's just what we call it when Uncle D is compelled to call you out because of your lack of blackness. You'll see what I mean. It's Ujima, though. Umoja Kujichakulia Ujima. So me, Shy, and my cousin Tony, dying to get our party on, rolling to LA, though. Tired of Club Metro. Oh, for those of you who don't know me, see, I was born and raised in the IE. That's the Inland Empire, the IE, 60 miles east of the City of Angels. So me, Shy, and my cousin Tony, dying to get our party on, rolling to LA, though. Tired of Club Metro. 4 dance floors of hip-hop, reggae, rock and Espanol, and retro. So the sensor starts to rattle and pull to the right. Ah, man, I can't believe we got a flat in the middle of the night. Not tonight. Okay, let me get the facts, folks. What's the deal with automobiles and black folks? For real? And the fact that the spare is always flat, folks? For real? Don't get me started on a working jack, folks. My black folks. So I wind up at a fix at the Spirit of 76 that sits on Central and Brockton. Gat in my lap in case I get rocked on. 1 in the morning sitting in my Aunt Gwen's ride. I can't leave Aunt Gwen Central sitting on Central. If it gets scratched, towed, stolen, or broken into, I'm gonna be the one getting broken into. Aunt Gwen's gonna kill me. Maybe not kill, but I ain't gonna be rolling the Central no more. You feel? Ever have one of those dreams where nothing comes out when you try to scream? So I'm sitting in the Central on Central sensing something, like rapping, like tapping, like, who's that peeping in my window? Chappelle. Nobody now. Tap. I hear the tapping again. Oh, cool, it's Tony. Let me let you in, girl, where you been? I'm lonely. You got me sitting in the car in the middle of the night, 1 in the morning, losing patience. Something just ain't right. Tap. Now, before you trip, let me go and admit that I'm strapped. Yeah, that's right. I'm strapped with my gat at Central and Brockton, 38 in my lap in case I get rocked on. Yo, that's nice. So I'm strapped with my gat at Central and Brockton, 38 in my lap in case I get rocked on. Late at night in my lap, there it sat, there I sat, there it sat, there I sat, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat, took a nap. Tap, tap, tap. I had the gat in my lap because I was a little terrified, tapping on the window, cousin Tony outside, and I'm like, hold on, cuz, let me let you in. Before I can, here comes this damn dream again. At first I can't holler, now I can't even move. I'm trying to open the door and I can't even move. I feel like a prisoner of war, can't even move. Can't move. Can't move. Can't move. First I can't holler, now I can't even move. If you dreaming, Maisha girl, wake up now, fool. Tony, who you calling this late on the payphone? You better come on so we can get on and head on home. I know you're ready to go home. I'm dying to. We can just explain it all to Aunt Gwen. You can just explain it all to Aunt Gwen. I'll just explain it all to Aunt Gwen. We ain't fixing no flat tonight. Forget that. Aunt Gwen's just gonna have to get black. We ain't fixing no flat tonight. Forget that. Aunt Gwen's just gonna have to get black.
Hit me. I called 911 a long time ago. Can't you see how late they reacting? Boom, 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 boom. Get up, get down. 911's a joke and you. 911?
Yes, can you come to Central and Brockton to the 76 gas station? Because my cousin's in the car. She has a gun on there. We can't get in the car because it's locked.
What? Who's in the car?
My cousin.
And she has a gun on her?
Yes, it's sitting in her lap and she's passed out.
She's passed out?
She's
been drinking?
I don't know.
Do you think she shot herself?
I don't know.
Okay, what kind of car is she in?
It's a Nissan Sentra.
Hold on, what color?
White.
And is she in the passenger or is she in the driver's?
She was driving. She had a flat tire. We came to bring her the AAA card, and this is just how we found her.
Okay, so she's in the car by herself?
By herself.
Have you tried to bang on the doors?
Yeah, we banged on the windows and everything. I mean, the music is loud, so we can't do nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna keep you on the phone until officers are on their way, okay? On December 28, 1998, I was working the graveyard shift when I received a call from RPD dispatch at approximately 01:55 hours, assigning me to proceed to the point of origin of a 911 call, which was Bain 76 Unical gas station located at 6575 Brockton Avenue in the city of Riverside. The call conveyed that there was an unresponsive female locked in a white Nissan Sentra with a visible firearm on her lap.
So I'm strapped with my gat at Central and Brockton, 38 in my lap in case I get rocked on.
At approximately 0200 hours, I arrived on the scene when I spoke with two females standing by the payphone on the north side of the gas station's premises. The two females advised me that the vehicle's occupant was a family member, appeared to be unconscious, and had a loaded gun in her lap. I saw that the two witnesses were very upset. Has she been drinking this evening?
I don't know.
Okay.
She had a flat tire. We came to bring her the AAA card, and this is just how we found her.
So you don't know what's going on?
I don't know.
Based on their demeanor and the occupant's non-responsiveness to her family members, I could tell that the vehicle's locked occupant was clearly unconscious and the family members did not know what was wrong with her. How long ago did you talk to her?
I don't know. My aunt did.
And how long ago was that?
That was 20 or 30 minutes ago. Can you guys send an ambulance with you?
Yes, because we don't actually know what's wrong with her. And the gun, you could just see the gun?
Yes, it's sitting in her lap.
It's sitting in her lap. And she's the only one in the vehicle?
Yes.
What is her name?
My name's Maisha. Y'all know us Ishas. Maisha, Moesha, Larisha, Lucretia, Tanisha, and Taisha. We the Ishas. We the first cousins to the Annas. You know the Annas. Lawana, Tiana, Shauna, Jana, Tawana.
How old is she?
She's 19.
19 years old.
Uh-huh.
And the car's parked in the parking lot?
Yeah, at the gas station.
Okay, and when she called 20 minutes ago, she said she was alone?
I don't know.
Okay. After speaking with the two witnesses, Officer Hobart arrived on the scene. I informed Officer Hobart that the locked vehicle's occupant had a gun and she was unconscious. And because she had a gun, I knew that we would have to secure the area to make it safe for emergency personnel to render any aid that the occupant required.
How far is the police station from here?
Well, they're in the city just driving around, but they're on their way there now. Officer Hobart and I approached the vehicle with our guns drawn and pointed downward.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't just sit at the police station waiting.
Oh, okay. I see a police car coming right now. There's one coming in the driveway right now.
Officer Hobart approached the vehicle along the passenger side rear door as I approached along the driver's side door. From my position behind the driver's side rear door, I could see the occupant's gun sitting in her lap, pointed towards the driver's door. Okay, if they're coming...
In the drive?
Officer Hobart and I approached the vehicle with our guns drawn and pointed downward. Okay, if they're coming... After verifying that the officer had a gun,
yes,
we held our positions until backup arrived. Okay, then why don't you go talk to them?
Okay, thank you. Soon as I hear the cop sirens, first thing that pop in my mind is, man, I wish I was a white girl. And not white in the I can flip my hair, I got blue eyes kind of way, but in the, officer, can you help me out kind of way? The young lady, you look lost, you need a ride kind of way. The you look distressed, you need some help kind of way. Not today. Tonight, my name is Maisha, and I'm black. Might have had a little to drink. Those are just the facts. But I figure with all that, I should still be all right. Because if Tony couldn't hear me, I must be asleep, right? And if I'm asleep, I'm dreaming, and it must be deep, right? And if I'm dreaming deep, the police will just wake me up, right? I mean, show a little kid, help me find a spare, even help jack me up, right? To protect and to serve, written in black and white. Right?
I observed that the vehicle's occupant was in dire medical distress and in need of immediate medical assistance. I observed that the vehicle's occupant's mouth was slightly open, her eyes were closed, her breathing appeared shallow, her lips were quivering, her body was shaking, and there was a white substance that was accumulating around the sides of her mouth. Based on my prior experiences with persons overdosing on drugs, I believe Mills was experiencing symptoms which were consistent with drug overdose. And believing that time was of the essence, I thought that we should use the quickest means available to remove the gun from her presence. So I would attempt to break the window and remove the weapon.
I mean, if Tony couldn't hear me, I must be asleep, right?
After verifying that all the officers were in position, I performed a silent 3 count. I then broke the window on my first attempt using the ASB baton. I then dropped the baton and leaned to tuck my body into the front window. But as I reached in, I heard a boom, which I believe to be a gun blast go off towards my right ear.
So I'm strapped with my gat at Central and Brockton, 38 in my lap, in case I get rocked on.
Once inside the vehicle, I could no longer see the weapon. I thought that the vehicle's occupant had grabbed a gun and shot me. Once inside the vehicle, I heard which I believe to be a gun blast. Once inside the vehicle, I heard which I believe to be a gun blast. Once inside the vehicle, I heard,
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear officer. Happy birthday to you. Officer Garland, the one on the floor, it's his birthday today. He's turning 24. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy. See the problem with this version? Nobody knows how to end the thing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. December 28th? That makes Officer a Capricorn. Capricorns are supposed to be careful and patient, ambitious and disciplined, humorous, reserved, pessimistic, and fatalistic. December 28th, that makes Officer a Kwanzaa baby, and Ujima baby. Oh, maybe. December 28, 1998. That means Y2K's in a year. You heard of Y2K? You ain't heard of Y2K? Okay. They say, soon as the clock strikes 12, next New Year's Eve, after the ball drop on New York, right? Things are going to go bananas. For real. They say computers are going to lose their megabytes. Even banks and stuff are going to lose grip on their cash. I'm not saying anybody I know is so naive to believe that the ATMs are going to start spitting out 20s. I ain't saying I believe, and I ain't saying I don't. But me, Shy, and Tony got the ATM on University in Maine staked out. We just gonna be in the vicinity case cash starts spitting out. You think I won't? But 1,000 years? 1,000 years of time? You're lucky if we make it to 79. That's like a blink, like a wink. But I get to be one of the very few that goes from the old millennium to the new. Out of everybody in history that's ever lived, I get to be one of the ones that goes from millennium 1 to millennium 2. You too. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make the millennium that's next the best. I'm gonna make M2 the bomb. Start me a M2 revolution. Make me a M2 resolution. December 28th, Y2K in a year. Next Officer Garland, Capricorn over there. Let's see what other signs we got in the house tonight. What's your zodiac sign? What's your zodiac? Do my Aries run this mother for you?
Hell yeah!
Do my Taurus run this mother for you?
Hell yeah!
Do my Leos run this mother for you?
Hell yeah!
Do my Libras run this mother for you?
Hell yeah!
December 28th, Y2K in a year. Next Officer Garland, Capricorn over there.
Once inside the vehicle, I heard beep, which I believe to be a gun blast. I immediately fell backwards into the pavement, injuring my legs and wrist. I then saw the occupant rise forward in her seat, and while believing that I had been shot and thinking that she was attempting to shoot me again, I began firing into the driver's side door of the vehicle.
I mean, if Tony couldn't hear me, I must be asleep, right?
I began firing into the driver's side door of the vehicle.
And if I'm asleep, I'm dreaming. It must be deep, right?
I began firing into the driver's side door.
And if I'm dreaming deep, the police will just wake me up, right?
I began firing into the driver.
Show a little care, help me find a spare, even help jack me up, right?
I began firing.
Right?
I began firing.
Right?
I began firing.
Right?
I began firing.
Right? Ever have one of those dreams where nothing comes out when you try to scream?
One, boom, worst come to worst, my people, they come first. The entrance to squeeze first, ask questions last. Number 1 is located on the right upper arm. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the skin and soft tissue of the right upper arm, perforating and fracturing the right humerus. This is a non-fatal gunshot wound to the right upper arm, fracturing the humerus. Humerus. Humerus.
Did he just say humorous? I think he said humorous. That's funny. What's not so funny is that me, Shy, and Tony been working on our routine for when we hit the scene. Yeah, that's right. We them girls. You know the ones. Have you in the club thinking you're going to have you some fun, thinking you're going to get your freak on, your grind on, maybe even get you some. But as soon as you hit the dance floor, you realize you gets none. We bust out in our routine that we came here to do. Nah, we ain't mean. That's just how we do what we do. So you standing over there bobbing your head, thinking you're going to get you some attention, create a little tension, you know what I mean? What you don't realize, it's all a part of the routine.
My classic girl that I never had, and you know I want to know you better.
Girl, I must.
Nah, we ain't mean. That's just how we play. We Shy, Tony, and Maisha. We three the hard way. So we're working on this new routine. Old one's getting tired. About time for it to be retired. So, see the dilemma? We're supposed to hit this. I mean, it's cool and all, but me, myself, personally, I think we should be doing more Aaliyah moves. Girl is bad and so smooth. She got that thing, you know? She should be in more movies or something, you know? I really think she's gonna blow up in a couple of years or so. But I get the feeling she should get a slip to R. Kelly. Maybe it's just me, but he gives me the...
Willies.
Anyway, check out what we got so far in the routine down. And see why a fractured humorist is not such a funny book.
Dirty sound, dirty. Can y'all really? Here we go, please. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. The entrance to pig. When they face hit the cement, they nod in agreement. Number 2 is located on the left posterior upper neck. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the skin and soft tissue of the left upper neck, coursing through the mandible and exiting the right side of the jaw. The mandible is extensively fractured, and there is some fragmentation of the teeth. This is a very serious, however, not rapidly fatal gunshot wound to the left upper neck, fracturing the jaw.
I heard that. Dreams about losing your teeth signify the loss of childhood innocence. They often occur at times of transition from one life stage to the next. It could be messages that milestones are occurring, urging you to face the inevitable. You know what I'm gonna be missing? Graham's Mission Barbecue. Downtown on Main Street? Oh, Robert be putting his foot in the queue. Both feet. Nah, it's a good thing. It's like saying, that queue is slamming. Beef tips, coleslaw, mac and cheese, chicken. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be missing. Barbecue, beans. I got something that needs to be said. What's the deal with barbecue folks and they bread? You heard what I said. The bread. I mean, if you could even call it that. It's the same wherever you at. Bobby Ray's in San Bernardino, Louisiana Fish in Moval, or M&M's in LA. Your meal gonna come out the same way. Beans gonna be hooked. Mac and cheese? Please. Beans gonna be lip smacking. And the queue? Oh, the queue gonna be slamming. Sitting on the top, off to the side, there's gonna be some paper thin, flavorless. It ain't even Roman meal white bread. You heard what I said. White bread. And it's gonna be white. White bread. But if you luck out and get some wheat bread, don't be expecting no wheat germ, wheat grain, wheat smell, or wheat taste. That wheat bread is gonna be wheat, because that's what the bag said. You know what's the worst part? When you get to sop up that last bit of Q sauce in the corner of that takeout styrofoam container that you can't get with the plastic fork, that paper thin, flavorless. It ain't even Roman meal white bread is gonna get the job done. That's what I'm gonna be missing. Barbecue, fake wheat bread, and kissing. Listen, kissing. Okay, Wesley Snipes in Sugar Hill, or Denzel Washington in Crimson Tide? Okay, Denzel in Glory, or Wesley in Blade? Okay, all right. Denzel in The Preacher's Wife, or Wesley in Blade? Denzel in Training Day, or Wesley in Blade 3? Okay. Denzel in Mo Better Blues, or Wesley in Mo Better Blues? I heard that dreams about losing your teeth signify the loss of childhood innocence. They often occur at times of transition from one life stage to the next and can be messages that milestones are occurring, urging you to face the inevitable.
1, 2, 3, 3, 3. The entrance to pit. Get the gas. Show them where it's at. Number 3 is located on the right posterior shoulder of the right upper back. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the skin and soft tissue of the right posterior shoulder and exiting the wall of the back. This is a non-fatal gunshot wound to the right upper back. Back. 1, 2, 3, break!
I was always a tomboy. People used to say I was gay because I dressed this way. Baggy jeans, sneakers, shirt hanging loose this way. Always a tomboy. And if you didn't like it, you could kiss this way. I looked good playing the field and had sex appeal. I played basketball, but softball was my game. I got my pitch up to 65 my last year at Riverside High. I even got a little fame. It's true. I got my picture in the Black Voice newspaper, page B2. My favorite pitch, called it the quick and split. Had batters singing the blues. See ya. I love the sound of my pitch and the catcher's mitt when it hit the sweet spot. It's like, sound good, felt good, and I look good too. Hi, let me stop. I did look good though. I was thinking about walking on at UCR, RCC, Cal Poly, or even Cal State, but I didn't get my applications in on time. Tomboy. I could have been a cheerleader if I wanted to, homeboy. I said my name is Maisha, and I'm the best. Come get with me, forget the rest. I said my name is Maisha. You know my name. Wanna get with me, you better step up your game. I said my name is Maisha, and I'm the best. Come get with me, forget the rest. I said my name is Maisha. You know my name. Wanna get with me, you better step up your game.
One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3. Bum bumps, bum bumps, bum bumps, bum bumps, bum bumps, bum bumps. 1, here comes the 2 to the 3 and bid. The entrance to bid. Well, let's shine at the bid. Number 4 is located on the left posterior side of the head. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the scalp and exiting the right posterior side of the head. This is a non-fatal gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the subcutaneous tissue of the scalp and exiting the right posterior scalp. The exit is a half-inch irregular stellate hole without abrasion, and this is a non-fatal gunshot wound perforating the scalp only.
Hold up.
Wait a minute.
I know he didn't just say only through the scalp. I know he didn't just say only talking about my scalp. He must not realize that the only place my hair grows is on that scalp. I'm not gonna get into the whole black woman and their hair conversation right now. Not with a coroner, anyhow. All I'm gonna say is Sarah Breedlove, AKA Madam C.J. Walker, AKA the first self-made American woman millionaire built on black hair care. You hear? High iron burns on your forehead, scars on your neck, highlights, lowlights, frosting, tinting, sleep sitting up so your new style don't get wrecked, kitchen sink perms, combing through the naps, baby hairs pumping, getting your dandruff scratched. I know some of my sisters that went natural, and I ain't hating. All I'm saying is you don't want to go there unless you're aware of the hair.
I want a girl with extensions in her hair, bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair.
Only through the scalp? Let me give you some advice, Mr. Coroner, when talking about a black woman's hair. The only time you want to say only is if you're saying, if only I could get my flip to flip as good as yours. If only I could get my goddess braids to rock as good as yours. If only I could get my fair faucet feather to layer as good as yours. Only through the scalp. While I'm passing out advice, let me give my men a little slice. You know me, I'ma be nice. But brothers should already be aware of the fact. But if you're not a brother and you like your coffee black, let me give you a little insight to help you on your Mac. Do not touch the hair. Permed, weave, dreaded, braided, or fro. Please, just let the hair go. Do not grab the hair. Do not clutch the hair. Do not caress the hair. Do not fondle the hair. Do not fiddle the hair. Do not twiddle the hair. Do not pensively seize the hair. Do not passionately grip the hair. Do not kiss the hair. Do not lick the hair. Just, did I make it clear? Hands off the hair. But if you care to be near the hair, please be aware of when the hair has been freshly done. When a sister's leaving sheer elegance, ebony crest, or Miss Ellison, you make it very clear that you see the hair, you feel the hair, and if given permission to, you would fondle the hair, you would fiddle the hair, you would twiddle the hair. Hey, I know it's not fair, but hair's not fair. So if you really care, hands off the hair.
That's what Fendi bag in a bad attitude. That's all I need to get me in a good mood.
Oh, if you see a sister going like this, don't be fazed. She's just scratching her scalp through her braids. Only through the scalp. I know he didn't just say only through the scalp.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hand up on my hip. When I dip, you dip, we bit. The entrance to bed. Cotton candy, sweet as gold. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. Roll. Tootsie Roll. Tootsie bit. Number 5 is located on the left lower back. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the skin and soft tissue of the left lower back, exiting the left anterior lateral hip. This is a non-fatal gunshot wound to the left lower back. Back. Back it up. Back.
I was in the video. Nah, for real. I was in the video. I was in this video. Okay, so it's just on Channel 23, exclusively local to the IE. So this MC from Mobile gets signed to Empire Records, right? A local label. Like, I think his name was like MC D-Lo. And he about to shoot the video. So naturally, Shy Tony and me and Club Metro letting ourselves go. Kid sees us. Says he's shooting a video. Sees us doing the old routine. Not even the new one you just seen. Y'all heard of Empire Records, right? No. Well, we shooting this video. So? But we still show up to the shoot. We just down to get our groove on. They had a director, a crew, and everything. So on action, we did our thing. Okay, so you probably won't recognize us, you know? I thought they were serious, but when I saw the video, all they got was the angle on my gluteus. I mean, I like my posterior, but I like my face too. I think they showed it once in BET Uncut. But in the final cut, you don't see me, at least from any angle where you can see me. All they got was what me, Shy, and Tony called a hoe shot. All bottom, no top. Okay, this is how Empire Records shot me.
Try. Drop it, girl. Pop, don't stop. Pop, don't stop. Pop, don't stop. Pop, don't stop. Little pretty eyes, stomach flat, thick old thighs, and that booty fat. Pop, pot, drop, little pretty eyes, stomach flat, thick old thighs, and that booty fat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The entrance to beat. few silver doing work with the limp. Go. Number 6 is located on the left thigh. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the skin and soft tissue of the left thigh, perforating, fracturing, and fragmenting the left femur. This is a non-fatal, however, very serious gunshot wound, fracturing the femur.
My cousin died once. Nah, not Tony. Freddie. Well, he kind of died. Okay, so if you know me, you know I got sports skills. But when it comes to Freddie, sports kills. He's uncoordinated like a mug. I mean, like a mug. So when he broke his leg, I'm like, of course he broke his leg. It's Fred. That's what he does. You know, you got that one cousin that always get hurt, whether you playing tag, hide and seek, or digging in the dirt. You know you play digging in the dirt. And no matter what, though, Freddie was gonna get hurt. He dropped a brick on his head once. That was funny. That one bled. He broke his right arm twice, left arm once. Ankles always sprain. I mean, always has something caught in his eye, even though he wore glasses. And he had to sleep on the bottom bunk so he wouldn't fall out the bed. That was Fred. So when he get hurt and start crying, we act like you dying or something. Thing was, if any of my aunts heard Fred's boo-hoo, our game was through. Tony used to get so mad, she didn't know what to do. Damn, Fred, shut up. You act like a little girl. Long as there was no blood flow, though, Freddie was usually good to go. So this fool goes out to Devil's Canyon by Cal State, rolling a moped. A moped? That's a motorcycle you pedal. So full speed ahead goes Fred, crashes the moped. Soon as I hear, I'm on my way to the hospital, ready to have some fun, get my bag on. When I get there, he's like, they just gonna keep me overnight, and then I'm gonna go home. Next day, I'm learning about fat embolism syndrome. He was in a coma. It was induced. Well, that's how it was introduced. Doctors explained it this way.
Fat embolism syndrome is a symptom complex of acute respiratory failure after long bone fractures. It is thought to be caused by deposition of embolic fat within the pulmonary capillaries, resulting in a capillary leak within the lung. The source of the embolic fat appears to be marrow fat.
Freddie broke his femur. The fat was headed to his lungs, got stuck in his throat. So he's put into an induced coma for 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Too weak to even eat. Like he was dead in that hospital bed. Doctors say it was good to hear familiar voices. So I showed up just about every day. My Aunt D moved into Kaiser Permanente. Permanently. Aunt D, Freddie's mom, had always been the aunt with faith. You know, the one that make you pray before a long car ride or drop the stay on the Lord's side if she saw you starting to backslide. Aunt D moved into the ICU. I kid you not, praying my cousin back to this side saying, this coma ain't nothing but a comma in my baby's life story. After 16 days, Freddie woke up in a haze. First thing he says is, cuz, I went to New York City. I'm like, not pretty. Shame. Fat emboli got to his brain. I mean, he starts to scream about the weather, where he went, what he ate, cash he spent, talking about he was
uptown, baby, we get down, baby, we get down, baby. We're Brooklyn Eps, we're Brooklyn Eps, we're Brooklyn Eps, we're Brooklyn Eps.
Talking about he was
Strong Island, strong.
Talking about he was
South Bronx, South Bronx, to the South Bronx, South Bronx, the bridge, the bridge. South Bronx, South Bronx.
I'm like, fool, you was right here in
Fontana, baby. Fontana, baby. With your mama, baby. With your mama, baby.
Mama, baby. Freddie didn't think that was too funny. Anyways, who knows? Maybe Freddie did go to the city. Sure hope Aunt D got some of her prayer pile left over for me. I ain't never been to New York.
LL Cool J is hard as battle anybody, I don't care who you. Stopped, dropped, shut them down, open up. New York, New York, big city of dreams. But everything in New York ain't always what it seems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The entrance to bed, cause I got that thug life tatted on my chest. I saw many years and shed so many tears. Bed number 7 is located on the right middle back. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the subcutaneous tissue of the right middle back. The bullet does not enter the chest. This is a non-fatal gunshot wound to the right middle back.
Tony, you sure about this spot? Yeah, this is where I got mine done. You know mine hot. Yeah, I'm here for a tat. Cousin says you got skills. You got a problem with that? My lower back. Queen. Nefertiti. Black. Here, Tony. Where's the one you drew? My cousin got skills, huh? You said 40, not 65. Let's go. I ain't got it. Let me hold 25 and I'll pay you back. Just like I got your back last month. Don't front. All right, let's see what you can do. She was powerful, beautiful, and smart like me. Her name means, the beautiful woman has come. I'm here. I'm putting it there because only kings get to see the queen. Know what I mean? Trust me, it'll be the last time you see her. Hold up, wait. Is it gonna hurt? Do pigs like dirt? Nah, for real. Like tiny pieces of fire tapping your skin. Numb? That'll work. All right. Begin. 2 hours? I told Uncle Doc now I was thinking about getting a tattoo. I could be just like you. He says, a tattoo ain't nothing but a scar. You can get a scar if you want, for free, from me. Pain will be the same, it just won't take as long. And he starts to go into one of his blackouts. You would have never made it as no slave. This that dry heat. Down south, they got that humid heat. And Massa wasn't giving you much to eat. If I get some new tennis shoes, you would have never made it as no slave. They didn't even have shoes. You'd just be walking with your bare feet on the hard concrete. I always try to throw in some lame hip-hop, like he was cool. Even when I try to do something right, like help him move the couch, you would have never made it as no slave. Don't you know that once you let him know how hard you could work, that's how hard you would work? So I dropped the couch.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The entrance to Biggie. Bed number 8 is located on the right lower back. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the skin and soft tissue of the right lower back, perforating and rupturing the third lumbar vertebrae. This is a non-fatal gunshot wound to the right lower back. Back.
They found my C in junior high. See? Here's how. There was a screening, one that seemed pretty benign. They drew a line, we stood in line, doctors took a look at our spine. And a few days later came a letter saying I needed further testing. After the x-rays, the doctor said he didn't like the way my spine was resting. The diagnosis, scoliosis, a lower C curve. Not like Becca, who had an S. Hers was internal swerve. They say I have to wear a brace for 2 years in my case. That thing went all the way from my chest down to my waist. Since I didn't embrace the exercises the doctor gave me as my assignment, I had to be encased in a brace to prevent improper alignment.
This exercise aims to align the spine and activate underused muscles. Stand next to an elevated bench so that the edge of the bench is near your hip. Lean over the bench and bring up your leg to form a straight line with your body. The foot should point up. Use your arm.
Since I didn't embrace the exercises doctor gave me as my assignment, I had to be encased in a brace to prevent improper alignment.
Above the thoracic and cavity is as high
2
as
years,
possible.
8th grade and
Reach
9th.
as you can.
I mean, the
in
first was
direction that
cool,
gets the thoracic
but the
and cavity
second,
with your neck.
we was gonna have
Feel
a
the
fight.
spine straightening and
9th grade, first
also
year of high
reach as far
school.
as you can with the arm that
I
is
wasn't about to
raised.
walk in looking like a fresh
Breathe
food,
deeply while
looking like a
maintaining this
geek,
position.
like a freak,
Feel the thoracic and
looking
cavity
all
getting larger
grotesque.
and wider.
a year and a
Continue
half
breathing
before I got my
slowly,
second
deeper
base
and
chest.
deeper. This exercise aims
But I
to
figured,
align
why
the
not
spine
take a chance?
to activate
Take a
underused
risk.
muscles.
I mean, what's
Stand
the
next
worst
to
that
an
could happen?
elevated bench.
Back pain when I got real old, like 56. Worst thing, back pain at 56.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Boom, 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 the entrance to bed. Wah da da ding, wah da 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 ding. Hey, listen to my 9mm go bed. Number 9 is located on the left breast. The entrance wound is 14 inches down from the top of the head and 5 inches left of the anterior midline. This is a non-fatal gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the skin and soft tissue of the left breast, coursing through the anterior midwall and exiting the right breast. This is a non-fatal gunshot wound perforating the left breast.
If you know me, you know I wasn't one of the early bloomers like my cousin. Till I was 16, I thought A was gonna be the only letter my bra ever saw. Clever Ricky and his friends got to calling me Manchester. You wanna know what I called they sorry behinds? Never mind. But I turned 16, no? And bam, I mean, wow! I got mine. Second base all in your face. And I don't mean I was easy or fast or loose, but I don't mean I didn't let loose when I let loose. I mean, I could tell you I was a virgin, but that wouldn't be the honest version. I waited till I was 16, though. Didn't even know if we was doing it right. Dontre kept talking about how the time was right, how he was the last of his boys in line, how that wasn't right. The thing was, Dontre was fine. Once we did it all night long.
Until the break of dawn.
At least that was Dontre's version. Let's just say Dawn came with a quickness. Can I get a witness? But it was still all right. It was still all right. Mouth slightly open, eyes closed, breathing shallow, lips quivering, body shaking. Dontre loved my lips. He dug my hips. And yes, he loved my chest. Confessed my chest was the best. He was a breast man. And at 16, like I said, I had the best, man. Forget the rest, come caress. Why settle for less, man? Just stop right there. Do not touch the hair. 16, stopped wondering. I found out for sure. At 17, stopped accepting. Started wanting more. At 18, declared myself a woman, grown, mature. 19 awaiting 20, knocking on heaven's door. At 16, stopped wondering, found out for sure. At 17, stopped accepting, started wanting more. At 18, declared myself a woman, grown, mature. 19, awaiting 20, knocking on heaven's door. 20 seems out of reach, and I'm running out of time. Half a dozen on one hand, 6 on the other, figure of speech. And I'm running out of rhyme. It seems like a crime to lose all that I bring to the table. So why don't we agree to make this tale a fable? Let's just agree to make this tale a fable. It seems like a crime to lose all that I bring to the table. So why don't we agree to make this tale a fable? Once upon a time in the Inland Empire, there lived a young girl who wanted to spit fire. There lived a young girl who wanted to spit fire. There lived a young girl who... Why don't we agree to make this tale a fable? And if you're able, if you can, when they're singing your 19th birthday song, before you make your wish and blow, put on another candle for me to add to the glow. Close your eyes and wish that what you're seeing ain't nothing but a dream, a fable. And I'll wake up 19 at your birthday table. Put on another candle to add to the glow. Now make your wish and blow.
I observed Mill's mouth was slightly open. Her eyes were closed. Her breathing appeared shallow. Her lips were quivering. Her body was shaking. And there was a white substance that was accumulating around the sides of her mouth.
At 19, knocking on heaven's door.
The entrance to gunshot number 10 is located on the left upper forehead. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the skin and soft tissue of the forehead, entering into the cranium through the left frontal bone, through the left and right frontal lobes, through the right orbit, rupturing and fracturing the right ocular globe and exiting the right orbit. The direction of the projectile is back to front, left to right, and downward 45 degrees. This is a fatal gunshot wound to the head. The entrance to gunshot number 11 is above and behind the left ear on the left side of the head. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The course of the projectile is through the scalp, entering into the cranium through the left occipital bone, perforating the pons of the brainstem, perforating the left cerebellum, and penetrating into the anterior base of the cranium. This is a fatal gunshot wound to the head. The gunshot wound for number 12 is located on the right central back. This is a typical distant gunshot wound entrance. The direction of the projectile is back to front, left to right, and upward 3 degrees. This is a fatal gunshot wound to the chest, perforating the right lung.
One to the chest, one to the arm, one to the leg, one to the neck, one to the dome, one to the dome, one to the dome, one to the back, one to the back, one to the back, one to the back, one to the back. I bet you ain't seen no female MC who's been shot as many times as me.
Supersonic.
You know one of the J's from JJ Fad lives in the IE? I was thinking about rhyming in pig Latin, but that ain't happening. This is it right here. It's been a year since they shot Biggie. Since Tupac was killed, it's been 2. It's only right that this should happen to me now. I gotta live. I be the best female MC ever. Too clever. Before me, rappers only got shot a couple times and lived. I got a dozen and I still be spitting rhymes. You can't stop me. It's my time to shine. One to the chest, one to the arm, one to the leg, one to the neck, one to the dome, one to the dome, one to the dome, one to the back, one to the back, one to the back, one to the back, one to the back.
The average person can hold their breath 60 to 90 seconds. The lungs take in oxygen-enriched air first, gets rid of carbon dioxide second. The average person breathes in and out 15 to 25 times every 60 seconds. Breath enters into the mouth and nose first, larynx and pharynx second. There are 2 phases to the process of breathing: inspiration, expiration. Creativity, release, insight, conclusion, inventiveness, completion, ingenuity, closure, imagination, exhalation, revelation, cessation, stimulation, departure, arousal, eradication, muse, expel, motivation, termination, vision, discontinuance, illumination, extinction, elevation, execution, enthusiasm, closure, invigoration, obliteration, enlightenment, collapse, excitement, finale, fervor, finish, elation, termination, vivification, death, awakening, passing, uplift, exit, rapture, decease, alpha, omega, beginning.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Bless Mommy, Daddy, Shy, Freddie, and my cousin Tony. Hey, this is Maisha. You know me.
End. Right lung weighed 270 grams. Left lung weighed 325 grams. Liver weighed 975 grams. Spleen weighed 100 grams. Kidneys weighed 100 grams each. Brain weighed 1,025 grams. Heart weighed 275 grams and was smooth and glistening. Right lung weighed 270 grams. Left lung weighed 325 grams. Liver weighed 975 grams. Spleen weighed 100 grams. Kidneys weighed 100 grams each. Brain weighed 1,025 grams. Heart weighed 275 grams and was smooth and glistening. Right lung weighed 270 grams. Left lung weighed 325 grams. Liver weighed 975 grams. Spleen weighed 100 grams. Kidneys weighed 100 grams each. Brain weighed 1,025 grams. Heart weighed 275 grams and was smooth and glistening. Right lung weighed 270 grams. Left lung weighed 325 grams. Liver weighed 975 grams. Spleen weighed 100 grams. Kidneys weighed 100 grams each. Brain weighed 1,025 grams. Heart weighed 275 grams and was smooth and glistening. Right lung weighed 275 grams. Left lung weighed 325 grams. Liver weighed 975 grams. Spleen weighed 100 grams. Kidneys weighed 100 grams each. Brain weighed 1,025 grams. Heart weighed 275 grams and was smooth and glistening. Right lung weighed 270 grams. Left lung weighed 325 grams. Liver weighed 975 grams. Spleen weighed 100 grams. Kidneys weighed 100 grams each. Brain weighed 1,025 grams. Heart weighed 275 grams and was smooth and glistening.
Ever have one of those dreams where nothing comes out when you try to scream?
Thank you so much for experiencing this play, Dreamscape, with us. The cast will be back for us to have a brief conversation. I never like to call it a question and answer because then you'll ask me questions and I'll have to answer. So I prefer the idea of having a conversation. Anything that you might have had initial reflections on, anything that you may be curious about, and just anything in general about the piece itself. If not, I can just keep talking, randomly. So I think we may not need a microphone, but we can start right here. Yeah, I'll give you the mic.
First viewing in Poland, here in Gdansk, and it's as strong now and as relevant now, and it will continue to be as long as we have situations in the world that this comes from. Yes. So I just want to congratulate you on writing that piece and creating that piece, and I want to congratulate these two guys.
Yes.
Yes. It's so brilliant. I'm sorry, that's not my question. My question is, for me, this is obviously devised, but maybe it isn't. I don't know. Could you tell me something about the process of getting it from you to those two guys to us?
Yes, absolutely. So the question was on whether or not this piece was a devised piece, and I think there were elements of it being devised. So there is. I did write the script originally. So everything, it was written out as a traditional script. And then these other two elements that you witnessed, the movement, obviously Natalie's brilliant use of words, and then John's use of beatboxing. And so on the page, because of my limited beatboxing abilities, well, not existent, but I'll say limited just so you think I can't do something. The script just says samples of the number 3. And so that's what John had to work with. And so he would come to rehearsal and he would have researched significance of the number 3 or the number 8 in hip hop culture, as well as the relevance to the period of time when this was taking place. So all of the samples would have been things that our character Maisha might have listened to or might have had exposure to in her lifetime. And so that's how that element of the construction, so there was a definite element of devising in the piece itself with the script as the basic foundation for the story. Script itself, I used 3 primary elements. One was the 911 phone call that occurred during this incident. This is based on a real incident. The second thing that I used was the coroner's report, as you can see, as kind of the spine for the story. And then the third thing was me sitting and trying to think, if I was a 19-year-old black girl being shot to death, what might be going through my mind at that moment? So the stories were constructed from that space. Thank you. Yes?
First of all, I want to congratulate for a wonderful performance and to both of you for being with us today and sharing your sensitivity. I just want to say that I really loved that the movement score was somehow very closely related to the coroner's report. For me as a movement practitioner and theoretician, it was stunning and very, very touching. And it made me really go into this mode of thinking what would be going on in my head if I were an unconscious person sitting in that front seat and just being, shot 12 times. It was so powerful and so related to what was happening in the text, yes. And also in the relationship between the beatboxing. And I think it's an absolutely stunning piece. So thank you very much for this.
I think Carlos Morton is still here, but Carlos is my mentor, who and I'll talk a little bit more about this piece that's related to the main thing that you're talking. But one of the things that I realize that as playwrights, we become enamored with our words. We really think we're really clever and so smart sometimes, and we say all these really cool things. And as I grew as a writer, I realized there are other aspects of performance that are just as, if not more powerful than words. And movement is one of those things that I really discovered in this piece that can say so much more than I could with words. And then Natalie is such an amazing dancer. Every time I watch the play, I was where they're hiding. I have to check out because some of the things that happen are so powerful that I would, I become a little touched by it, even as I'm saying it. Dang, I do this every time. But the power of the other elements of performance, I thought I should try to learn how to use those. So thank you for that. Yes.
How do you expect
Yes.
us to
Oh.
talk if you have just mutilated a 19-year-old, you know?
Yeah,
I'm not going to talk to you.
And this is the best thing when something leaves you speechless. I've been in places where I realized that clapping or saying things are not enough to express those things that are going on inside. And for me, those are the best moments, that I've had in these spaces. But thank you for that. It's I don't watch the play anymore because I can't. Yes.
So did the play change a lot during the rehearsals after when you added beatboxing and dance and everything? Did you change also a script in some way?
So I just said how playwrights think their words are so clever and we become enamored with our words. I am a playwright, so I am somewhat enamored with my words. The script itself is set. The words, they're set. There's certain rhythms that you probably heard are embedded in there. The stories, the nuances of how things, how words are used, are definitely embedded in that space. What is always completely new and different is what happens with the improvisational aspect of the play. And the beatboxing is not fully improvisational, but there are always cool moments that happen every single time that we do the show. And then with Natalie's movement as well, and even the way she expresses certain aspects of the play, pauses that last this long or this long, right? Change the meaning and significance of what's happening. So I think having the permanence of, or the security of that foundation of the words allows, at least in my mind, for them to be freer in the space. Yes?
I'm not sure. There will be a question someplace there. But I know that certainly, what I'm certain of, I was really impressed by how much can be drawn from the autopsy report. This was brilliant. And of course, with your performance here as well, with the silences and the movement that was already mentioned. Even though I felt at the end when watching this light-hearted girl going through her early life experiences while being shot at the same time, it stopped being, despite all your efforts and presence on stage, it stopped being funny. It just became tragic, just like maybe half of it. I have, just a minuscule question. It's just my curiosity. The officer reports that he heard a gunshot. Was it in his head? Did he make it up, or was there like a gunshot going on someplace?
Yes. So there were 4 officers surrounding the vehicle in the actual event, and I had the opportunity. This was an interesting thing that happened. I had the opportunity to have lunch with the officer. This was after we had performed a play a couple of times, and he had reached out with some aggression and a little sarcasm about, I hope the professor did his research and knew that there were guns in the trunk and there were drugs in her system. And the one thing you don't do with a writer is come at them with sarcasm. And so I said, I did do my research, come and see the play. And after the play, I didn't hear back from him, and I reached back out and I said, did you come and see the play? And he said, I didn't think I would be welcome. In full disclosure, I'm one of the 4 officers who was there that night. And so I said, let's go to lunch. So we went to lunch, and during the course of that lunch, and he was the officer whose words I used. There were 4 testimonies. His was the one I used. And he said, listen, this is what happened. When I broke the window, I heard a gun go off. And what I realized later is that it was Paul's gun, one of the other officers. And he said, when I heard the gun go off, I thought she had started to shoot at me. And so I began shooting. And when he began shooting, the other officers did as well. So there were about 24 shots that were shot at her. 12 of the shots hit her, and 3 of those 12 were fatal. But thank you. And the thing about the humor, and you know, I think a lot of times when we're in tragic spaces or spaces that are heightened, sometimes funny things happen in those spaces. Our lives are not perfectly ordered, and so that was the balance that I wanted to strike with this piece. Not to minimize the event or not to make it so tragic that one could not sit through the entire performance. So it was trying to find that balance between those two. So. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for this empowering play. And I wanted to ask you about the reaction of Jerz's family and the community that she belonged to your play, because I think on the one hand, I understand it is like you give a voice to like the life which was so brutally taken, but on the other hand, like bisecting her body once again and again, I think might be quite, traumatizing and difficult.
Yes, the most extreme exchange occurred when her grandmother came to see the production. And this was at UC Riverside. And I didn't know she was coming, but I could hear her on the front row. And subsequently, she spoke to my mother-in-law, who had covered the story in the newspaper. And she said to her, there are 2 things she said. One, she said, I did not realize how many times she had been shot. Kind of slowing time down a lot for that to happen. And she also voiced appreciation for keeping her alive in a way. So that was confirmation for me that perhaps what we're doing was of value, and it did serve a purpose, even for the family. So, yes. I see one more hand. We'll do another hand. Then I believe Jerzy will tell me we should stop.
Can I ask the actors something?
Oh, absolutely. I would like to stop.
You've had a rest. I often wonder, we do lots of things in life. We lecture a lot, or soccer players play thousands of games of football, or actors play the same role hundreds of times. And there obviously comes a certain point where you just do it as rote. But something like this you can't do as rote. You have that, how do you, when you've done this for the 20th time, and you come and do it again, how do you get into it, and how do you feel about it?
I find a way to dedicate each performance to either a person or a scenario that's happened. So one of my mentors just passed away. So I dedicated this to her. I just find ways to tie it back in, because the topic is still very relevant.
For me, it's challenging because similarly, over the course of the time of us doing this piece, I've had encounters with the police, and then I would have to come and portray an officer with being unbiased. And it's challenging, but I think I have to remind myself that these are individuals, the characters that I play are just doing the job. And you almost have to, it's a stark reality that I have to turn off the emotion because I just have a job to do. Whether I'm a coroner or if I'm getting information as a 911 dispatcher. And after it's all done, it is unsettling because then I have to come back to reality. But much like Natalie mentioned, there's a constant reminder that someone needs to experience what we just experienced now to be able to, you know, kind of find our way and navigate through these types of spaces. So it isn't easy, and unfortunately, sometimes I have to disconnect afterwards or even before, and I'll just listen to music and try to escape for a moment before settling into the space. But unfortunately, these events are still current. This is an event that happened in '98, and it still feels like it's brand new.
Yes.
So first of all, I have to say that I'm so impressed by both of your skills. I'm just blown away right now. So I'm very thankful to be able to see you perform. And I always need some time to think about a film or a performance. And I think that the best compliment that you can give the actors or the playwright is that I will be thinking about this play for a very long time. It will stay with me for a really long time. But I have to ask, what was so touching to you about this story that you chose to adapt it to a play?
Yes, thank you for the question, and thank you for the comment as well. There are two things that made me adapt this play. One was that this was a young woman who was shot to death by the police. Back home, usually it's, you know, people look more like Claus or myself. And so there was that anomaly. And then I knew about this event when it occurred. My family, I mentioned my mother-in-law, have a small newspaper in the city where this occurred. And what they decided to do is that they were not going to let this incident just go by. So they put an article on the front page every week about this event, about the officers who went on trial and were found not guilty, about what was happening to the family. And so because of my proximity to the family and to the event, I reluctantly wrote this play. This incident happened in 1998. I wrote this play in 2002 or 2003, very reluctantly. This same mother-in-law that I mentioned, and dang, that sounded more aggressive than it meant. She kept saying, you should write a play about this. And just so you know, one of the things playwrights hate is when somebody goes, you should write a play about it. And I kept saying no, because for two reasons. One, I didn't think I had the ability to tell the story the way it deserved to be told. And two, I didn't want to feel like I was benefiting from something so tragic. And then I lived in another city, in Cincinnati, for 2 years, where African-American men were being shot. There were a number of them who were shot over a 3-year period. And I decided as an artist I had to say something. And so that's when I decided to try to be able to tell the story. And this connects to where I mentioned Carlos Morton earlier. This is a story that was, you know, that came about as a result of something factual that occurred. And the first time that I did a rewrite of a play, it was based on one of Carlos's play, The Many Deaths of Dani Rosales. And it was, you know, through the newspaper, through that accounting, that story came about as well. And so I found it interesting and ironic that I was repeating that process of finding something that had occurred that was tragic and finding a way to tell the story in a theatrical, in a compelling, in a powerful way, and in a way that hopefully would allow an audience to think and for the story to stay with them. What you said, it's great for me when I've seen something or experienced something and it goes home with me and it stays with me for a period of time. And so that was my goal, and that, you know, that's why we continue to do the play. There is something powerful about this work being done right in this moment, in this place where we are, and with all the different things going on in multiple parts of the world, that this tiny little play with just two people has the ability, the power to affect other human beings. Because ultimately, I think that's the greatest thing we can do as a human being, to affect someone else's spirit, ideally in a positive way. I think we should stop now. Thank
you. Let me just say that in our context of the border seminar, I think, let's think about this show, how many borders he crossed and how many temporal borders, epistemic, ontologies, home invasions, I could go on, and narrowing this time frame to this minute moment, this is brilliant, this is not a chronological play, episodic, whatever, climactic. It is this, you're taking us to this very, these few seconds in time. You're slowing that time down. It's, so for me, it was this moment of, this is what I love about theater, that invades me, and takes me to those places. And I mentioned you were not here. I mentioned the twilight. You took us to the twilight zone. I mentioned that in my opening speech. So thank you very much. One other thing I want to say, we have high school students here as well with us. Because I'm thinking of border studies as an accompaniment, as an action in the world. So not only the conference, but also the students who were experiencing, about the same age as Maisha being killed. So, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation. It's been phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
We'll be around.
At the workshop, I announced the workshop tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're doing a workshop. What time?
3:30.
At 3:30, and it is
at the Immigration Museum.
At the Immigration Museum. Just like God is speaking through me to you. And the workshop will be on beatboxing. And it will be a workshop on how beatboxing can be used as a tool for storytelling. And you need no experience. Your face is like, yeah, I'm still not coming, but you need no experience. Faz will be conducting the workshop. And you really only need to know how to count from 1 to 8. That's all you need.
And not even in English.
And not even in English. But it will be phenomenal. I hope some of you skip class if you have to. No. But yes, we'll be conducting a workshop. Thank you again so much. You're just an amazing. Like I was back there enjoying the work. We will be hanging around for a little bit, and I think we're done.
Thank you.
And I just have to thank our technical staff, Mike. This was done so amazingly, so briefly, so brilliantly. Thank you so much. We'll be around.